Do not move to Utah. That's right, guys. In this video, we're talking about the reasons why you should not move to Utah unless you're prepared for some of these things. We're gonna take a walk around the neighborhood. I'm gonna show you a couple things here. We're gonna talk about a couple things, and I'm just gonna basically give you an overview on why you should not move here and what you need to be prepared for. What's up, you guys? My name's Cody Steck, your favorite Utah realtor. Here on this channel, I talk a lot about what it's like to live here, work here, and all the things that are amazing about living here in Utah. And you know, I talk it up a lot. I'm a real estate agent. I love people. I love helping people buy and sell homes here in the state. My team and I service the entire state, which, by the way, if you are thinking about moving here, even despite what I'm going to talk about here in this video, make sure to reach out to me. My information will be here on the screen. Please call, text, or email anytime. And let's have a chat. Let's have a chat about what that looks like for you. But today we're talking about why you should not move to Utah. So the first thing I want to talk about here, we're just going to talk about the elephant in the room here. Do not move to Utah. Right now, prices are absolutely ridiculous, right? If you're moving to Utah, you're going to have high prices. If you're looking at buying a home, you're going to pay high prices, and you're going to be combining that with high interest rates that we're seeing in the market right now. In addition to that, even if you're looking at renting, the rents here are actually pretty high. Rents really haven't adjusted all that much over the last couple months or even the last year or two. They've still been climbing, and they're still very competitive out there. So you have to be prepared for that. The prices right now haven't really adjusted. If you've watched any of my other videos, we've talked a lot about that. Prices have been mostly flat for about the last 6 months or so. So we haven't really seen any change in that, despite interest rates climbing and sitting at roughly 7.5% to 8%. In addition to that, it's actually hard to find good housing in this market too. If you're looking at inventory, whether you're looking to buy something or you're looking to rent, right now there's just a huge lack of inventory out there. And the homes that are nice, the homes that are in good neighborhoods, good areas at affordable or at least reasonable prices, they're few and far between, right? They're very hard to find, and there's just frankly not a lot of them out there. So you have to be prepared for that. In addition, Utah's not going to be the right fit for everybody, right? People are not going to like the culture here. People are not going to like, the politics or the religion or the home prices or the weather. It's not going to be a fit for everybody, and that's something you have to consider. Of course, there are people that it's right for. Me is included in that, in that assessment. But right now, it's not a fit for everybody. There's always going to be something that is negative about an area, and you have to really consider that when it comes to what you're looking for. Another thing to keep in mind is that you're going to pay a premium to live in a nice area. I want to live in the best area. I want to live in the best school districts with the nicest homes, close to the mountains, close to the outdoors, where there's low crime, good schools, all of that, right? And those are the things that people are looking for, and you can find that, but you're going to pay a premium, right? Of course, those are the areas that are most desirable and see the most activity, and that's where prices have really gotten pushed up for housing. So if you're looking at moving to one of those areas, just be prepared to pay a premium to be in one of those spots. Because of the way that things have gone, the older areas in town are also going to have the most mature neighborhoods. Here in Salt Lake, if you're familiar with the area, at least somewhat, maybe close to a map, you will know that the Wasatch Mountains, which is on the east side of Salt Lake Valley, are the most desirable mountains. That's where you're going to have your skiing, your hiking, your climbing, all of that stuff, and that's where people want to live. Therefore, those neighborhoods have been developed and established early on, right? You look at Mill Creek. Mill Creek was mostly built in the 50s. Cottonwood Heights is going to be like 60s, 70s, and 80s. Sandy is going to be about 70s, 80s, 90s, and so forth, right? As you move further south, the areas that are desirable close to the mountains are the ones that get developed. And therefore, if you're looking to move close to the mountains, you want to be in one of those desirable areas with mature trees and nice neighborhoods and sidewalks. You're going to pay a premium to live in one of those areas, and you're probably going to end up with an older home as well. So that's something you have to be ready for. The new homes in these areas are going to be pricey, right? If you're looking in Sandy or Cottonwood Heights or Draper and you want a new home, you're going to have to be prepared to pay for it, right? If you're looking in those areas, and even if you want a townhome, right, you're probably looking at $550,000, maybe $600,000 for a townhome. Single family homes, brand new, are going to be $800,000, $900,000, maybe $1 million plus for something new in those areas. Now, let's say that you do want a new construction home and you don't want to be in that area, or you don't want to be in that price range, right? You can find newer homes in parts of town that are going to be, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. They're just going to be a little bit further out. You might have to go to South Jordan. You might have to go to Harriman. You might have to go to Eagle Mountain or Saratoga Springs. And that can be a great option for a lot of people. There's lots of people who do look out that way and find their dream home at a fairly reasonable price. Now, another reason why you should absolutely not move here to Utah is going to be that the entertainment here is, somewhat average, right? If you're coming from another big city, maybe you're coming from California, one of the big cities there, or the Northeast or something like that, you're going to have access to tons of entertainment options. You're going to have major sports teams. You're going to be on the list for every major concert. You're going to be, going out to the nicest restaurants, anything like that. And to be honest, that's something that's kind of just lacking here in Utah. Yes, we do have some great restaurants. Yes, we do have some concerts, and we do have, you know, an NBA team, but we don't have a lot of those other A+, you know, entertainment options. And so if that's something that's important to you, you do have to take that into account and make sure that you're, you know, aware of what you're actually getting into. And, you know, on that note, the landscape is really changing. One thing that you also have to be prepared for is that certain things like, let's say, coffee shops or bars or breweries, those are going to be a little bit far and few between, right? We don't see a ton of those, especially as you get out of the suburbs. You know, they don't have a ton of those. Now, coffee shops are changing. We do have Starbucks, we have Beans and Brews, we have lots of different, you know, mom and pop coffee shops. So those are things that you're going to find just about in any suburban area, but it's not going to be like your other major cities where they're basically on every block. The other thing is like bars and breweries, right? You can find those downtown. You can find quite a few of them, actually. There's a bustling scene for sure in the downtown area. But as soon as you get outside of that, you might only find, you know, 1, maybe 2 bars in certain areas. And oftentimes they're pretty run down, right? You're not going to find these big fancy new bars or breweries anywhere out in the suburbs. So you have to be prepared for that. Of course, most people who are into those things are okay to drive a little bit, or maybe they're looking in the downtown area to live anyway. So that might be something for them to, you know, where that's not really an issue or a consideration. But if you are living in the suburbs, just know that you're going to have limited access to that. You're only going to have a few options, you know, and even finding a place that just serves alcohol or serves a drink, it's not going to be like what you see in other cities or areas. Now we're going to talk about the schools here, but as we do that, guys, as a reminder, if you're looking to move here, even despite what I'm saying, make sure to reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. I love hearing from you guys. I've had hundreds of people reach out to me from these videos just like this, and I cannot wait to hear from you who's watching this right now and says, you know what, even despite everything Cody just talked about, we still want to move to the area, and we're still looking to do something, right? So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, please reach out. My information is here on the screen. I love hearing from you guys, so please do that. All right, so let's talk about the schools. The schools here are pretty good, actually. I would say that above average schools here in the area, in most areas, you're going to find that the schools are pretty good compared to other parts of the country. Now, they do have some variation, right? If you're looking in the downtown area, if you're looking to move downtown, not a great place for schools, right? At least public schools. There are some really nice private schools and charter schools in the area, so that might be something you want to consider. But really, if you're looking at you know, good public schools, you're going to want to be further south. You're going to look at the Canyons or Jordan School District or Alpine School District. Those are going to be the top 3 here in the metro area. So those are going to be the ones you want to consider. You're going to want to look further south for those schools, but overall those schools are definitely above average for their, you know, compared to the rest of the country. And there's going to be even better charter and private schools in the area. So just make sure you're aware of that. Make sure you're careful with what you're looking for, and if that's a big consideration for you, make sure to look into that a little bit further on exactly where you should land. All right, now there's another thing you have to consider if you're moving here, and that's going to be the walkability. You know, honestly, the walkability here in Salt Lake, or even just in northern Utah for that matter, well, really the whole state, is that the walkability is really pretty poor. I mean, look around me. I'm out here walking in this beautiful neighborhood, and yeah, it's gorgeous, but this is just a suburban neighborhood. We're here in Draper today, actually, just outside my office. And you know, this is a walkable neighborhood for just walking down the sidewalk, you know, walking with your kids or walking the dog, anything like that. But if you want to be walking to the grocery store, to the coffee shop, or to a bar, or to a restaurant or something like that, you don't really have a ton of options. There's really hardly anything out there. There's really, you're basically looking at like downtown, and that's about one of the only walkable areas. You might have Daybreak. If you're like in the middle of Daybreak, it can get pretty walkable there. There's some good spots there. But yeah, walkability is just not something they've done here in Utah. They didn't build it or design it in that way. Basically, you've got all these suburban neighborhoods where it's just pretty much entirely residential. And then you're gonna have some areas that are gonna be very heavy commercial areas. We're gonna have all of your shops, your stores, your grocery stores, the gym, the restaurants, fast food, all that stuff. So it is pretty centralized, and in most cases, it's not gonna be walkable from your house. Even riding a bike to a lot of areas can be just a little bit beyond, you know, what's actually reasonable, just because it's so far. It's just not something that's really realistic here in the area. And again, you're gonna need a car, right? You're gonna need a car to live in this area. There's not really many options otherwise. Public transit is an option if you lived downtown. Again, if you live downtown, it's pretty easy to get around. They do have a track system. They do have bikes and scooters and all that stuff. But if you're out in the suburbs, like most people, I'd say probably 90% of the people I work with that reach out, they're looking in the suburbs. And if you live out here, you're gonna need a car to get around. You know, it's nice to have a bike just to get some recreation, but that bike's not really going to take you anywhere. Now, with all that being said, we covered a ton of reasons why you should not move here, but now let's talk about some of the opportunities we've got here and why people continue to live here and why it's actually a fit for some people out there. Right here, we've got tons of job opportunities. We've got great access to the outdoors. We've got the 4 seasons. I'm filming this here at the end of October. It's a nice sunny day. I'm walking outside with a flannel shirt on. It's a little bit chilly. The wind's blowing a little bit, but it's totally manageable. You get the nice winters that are fairly mild. You get the snow, but then you also get hot summers where, yeah, it can get pretty hot. So there's a lot of things going for Utah. And if you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for watching along with me. I'm probably out of breath. I probably sound like I'm huffing and puffing here, talking while I'm walking and holding this camera. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're thinking about moving here, please reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. And with that said, guys, we'll catch you in the next video.